Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Back to a normal time and normal day, but we're going to start on our backs today. So just go ahead, put down a blanket if you need to. I'm just going to, oh, hi, Tim. We got a new student today. So I'm just going to put down a blanket or whatever you'd like to lay on. We're just going to stretch do a couple stretches on our back and then come to a seated position, obviously, but so just whatever you think you might need, water or a yoga strap or something to use as your yoga strap. But just for now, just come down to your back. Open up your palms to the ceiling. Take a deep breath into the belly. Let the belly button rise to the ceiling. Exhale, close the eyes and just sink into the mat. Let everything go. We'll take 2 more big breaths like that. Inhaling, filling up the belly. And releasing, just releasing the breath, releasing all your to-do lists, tasks, worries, concerns. Just releasing, letting go for the next hour. And 1 more big breath. Really filling up the belly and just really letting go. And then, once you're done with that breath, we're going to move on to our Ujjayi breaths. So, I'm going to start keeping your eyes closed. Just visualize your belly just expanding, opening through all 4 sides of the rib cage. And then moving up, filling up the chest, expanding the lungs. And emptying the lungs. And emptying the belly. So it's like a wave of breath, starting at the belly and moving up. You can take 1 hand to the chest or 1 hand to the belly. Feel that belly open. And moving up, open the lungs, feeling the chest expand. And exhale, empty the chest, draw the navel in. And just concentrating on those Ujjayi breaths. Just take a few rounds of that, really just challenging every corner of our belly, every corner of our lungs, chest, just fill up oxygen. With every exhalation, just releasing a little bit more into the mat, letting everything go. And just take 2 more of these. And once you're taking your last Ujjayi breath, just going to go back to normal breathing. So just still laying there with your eyes softly closed. Notice if you're holding any tension in your face. Soften through the face, the jaw, the cheeks. Your mental body scan from the top of your head, all the way down your shoulders, your arms, your belly, your hips, your legs. If any part of your body needs extra attention, you're going to breathe into that area, your knees, your hips, shoulders. And the exhalation, we're just going to let go of any tension and discomfort in that area. And then from here, I'm going to take a really long body stretch. You can gently open the eyes up towards the ceiling. Blink a few times into the light, and then we're going to raise our hands, take a really long stretch of our body, really dry mouth, and then we're going to move those ankles over to the right side of the mat. So you can just bring them together or cross them over, and then you can move those shoulders over and reach to those fingertips. You can control how gentle you'd like the stretch to be, just moving everything back to the center. Or for a deeper stretch, moving everything over towards the side of the mat, over the side of the mat. And then once you found that spot that feels good, you're just going to stay there and breathe into that left side of the body, just making space all along the left side of the body and the joints, muscles. Breathe into the belly, nice long deep breaths into the belly. Always just returning to the breath. You can close the eyes or just soften your gaze up to the ceiling. Releasing any tension you might be holding in your face and your jaw and your cheeks. And release. Move everything back to center. And just come directly over to the other side. So ankles together or cross that right ankle over the left. Reaching. And then just moving those shoulders over to the left side of the mat. Opening to that right side of the body. Breathing. Let that tongue be loose in the mouth. Soften the gaze to the ceiling if you're not closing your eyes. Breathe, just following the breath. And then we're gently moving back to center. You're going to bend the knees. Just bring the arms up to the sides and go ahead and just rock those knees from right to left. Just loosen up the low back. And softly bring those knees over to one side of the body. Just take a gentle spinal twist. So bring those legs, move those hips back towards the center. Or just, as always, make an adjustment so you can just release into that spinal twist. Take a hand to the top of the knee. Gaze up towards the ceiling in the opposite direction. And release. Should be a gentle stretch, not too intense. Just breathe into the belly, softening the gaze against the ceiling, soften the face, soften the shoulders. One more breath here into the belly, and we're going to pull those knees up. And we'll just drop them over to the other side, just adjusting as you need to release into that spinal twist. And once you've found the spot you're comfortable in, Taking your awareness to your breath, still deep into the belly. Releasing on the exhalation into the twist. Releasing into the mat. And release. Bring those knees back up towards the ceiling. Just going to grab that right knee, pull it down and up. And then go ahead and lengthen that right leg. We're going to just press through that right foot. Inhale. And exhale. Just bring the nose up towards the knee. Little ab work. Release. And then grabbing the leg, you can keep it bent. Grab the sides, grab the back. Use a yoga strap if you like. Keep this foot attached to the mat. You can kind of grip that mat with this left foot and press to that heel. And release. Bring this ankle to this knee. Press this right knee away. Pressing that low back into the mat. Make sure you can't put your hands underneath your back. So just a gentle tuck of the tailbone. The right foot stays flexed. And press this right knee just away. You can take your hand and kind of guide it. I'm going to check in with our hips, noticing tightness, extra tightness there. A few more breaths into the belly. And release. I'm going to pull this knee up, lengthen this leg, and just bring this knee at an angle. So just basically taking this right knee and just pointing it towards the left shoulder, both hands on top of the knee. And breathing, just reaching all those muscles that we don't get in those other stretches. Make sure you're breathing into the belly still, into the hip, any tight areas. Just breathing into those areas and releasing on the exhalation. And release. Right foot down, bring this left knee down and up. Soften through that left hip crease. Grip with this right foot into the mat. Right knees up towards the ceiling. And go ahead and lengthen that right leg. Inhale, bring that nose up to the knee. Release. Press that heel. Keep that knee bent. And bring that ankle down to that knee. Press the left knee away from the body. Just gently tucking that tailbone so that your lower back stays attached to the mat. Sorry, always have to have somebody. And release. We're gonna lengthen this right leg, bring this right knee over towards the right shoulder. Soften to the outside of the left hip. Just breathe into the tight areas. Still bringing it into the, softly into the lower belly. And release. I'm going to pull both those knees up, across, or actually just roll a few times, side to side, feet together, and then cross the ankles, grab the backs of the hamstrings. I'm just going to roll slowly and come up. And we'll come to a seated position, so if you want something to sit on, extra cushion, blankets, towels. Sometimes it'll help you keep your spine nice and long. And come to a cross-legged position. Bring your hands softly to your knees. And inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. And take a mudra if you like, calming, energizing, or just bring your hands just to your knees. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. We're going to exhale, bring that right ear down. Reach those left fingertips and then soften from the tip of the shoulder up to the ear. Still breathing into the belly. Let me just bring a hand here. Make sure that's where you're breathing, not into the chest. This shouldn't be moving. You can always add this hand here to guide the ear. Always gentle with the neck. And release. And inhale up the arms. Bring them to a V. Pull down those elbows. Just once. Inhale up. Rest them on the back of the head and guide that chin in towards the chest. We'll lengthen the back of the neck. Still keeping that length in the spine and lifting through the sternum. And gently release. Hands to the knees. Inhale. Lengthen. Exhale. Bring that right ear. Or this side yet. Left ear down to the left shoulder. Reach out to those right fingertips. Staying here or add this hand to guide the ear. Just mindful. Nothing should hurt. Feeling that gentle stretching from the tip of the shoulder, up the neck, up to the ear. And release. Inhale, lengthen, we're lifting through the sternum. Exhale, close the eyes. And we'll take a few just neck rolls, just drawing a big circle with the tip of the nose into the air clockwise. So slowly, gently. Just feeling every muscle lengthen. In the front and the sides and the back of the neck. Nose to where it attaches to the chest, to the back, to the shoulders. It's being, as always, very gentle, very mindful with the neck. Change directions. Still keeping a nice long spine. Lifting through the sternum, breathing into the belly. And change directions, moving clockwise. Just a few circles this way. Notice if any muscles on the neck are particularly tight. You can kind of pause on that muscle if you need to. And then change directions. Going counterclockwise. And slowly bring those circles smaller and smaller, and then come to a just still position. Gently open the eyes. Inhale up, reach. And exhale, come down to the right. Lift up and over. Just opening, let those ribs float apart on the left side of the body, and then pull that thumb back. We're gonna open up, spin open, take that gaze up. Open the chest to the ceiling. Both those hips attached to the mat, so we don't want to feel like we're leaning over. And then softly bring this hand down to the knee, slide this hand back. We're lifting to the sternum, through the crown of the head, and then taking that gaze to the back of the room. On the inhalation, we're lengthening. Exhalation, twisting. Breathe. Lengthen, exhale. And then gently release when it unwinds. Come back to center. Inhale out those arms. Reach. And come down on the left side, lifting up and then over. Feeling that stretch from the hip up to the shoulder, to the fingertips. And come down as low as you like. Just make sure both those hips are attached to the mat. And we'll spin open, pull that thumb back towards the back. Open up that heart to the ceiling. And release this hand down. Slide this left hand back. Going to lift the sternum and the crown of the head, and we'll take that gaze back. So with every inhalation, we're lengthening the vertebrae, creating space in between the vertebrae, and the exhalation, just twisting a tiny bit more. Just a few more breaths, lengthening. And exhalation, drawing that navel in, twisting. And release, unwind. Hands gently to the knees. Inhale. Exhale, come forward. Bring those hands right in front of your shins. And sway just a few times. Feel your hips, your lower back. Check in with them. How are they feeling? And walk those hands a little further if you like. Just staying here. And those hips feel heavy. Lengthen through the back of the neck so nose comes down towards the floor, and walk those hands over to the right. And bring those hands back to center. And walk them over to the left. Breathe into that right side of the hip. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Breathe into any tight areas. And into the belly and soften on the exhalation. Now walk the hands back to center. Walk them back up. And inhale up those arms again. Drop that right hand. Lift up through that right elbow. Breathe. And release. Bring this right arm across the body. Just going to guide it across. Bring this arm into a hook. Breathe into the belly. Feel that stretch through the front and the back of the shoulder. And release. Inhale up the arms. Drop this left hand. Lift to that left elbow. Lengthening all the way from that hip up to that elbow. Tip of the elbow. And release. Bring this arm across. Guide this across. Bring this arm into a hook. Breathe into the belly and then release. And from here, move everything out of the way, or if you need something under your knees, we're coming to tabletop position. So just bring those hips right above those knees, or spread out those palms. Protecting your wrists. Now I'm pressing down into the tops of the feet. Just kind of feel that length in your spine from the top, from the crown to the tailbone. Just gonna come forward just a little bit, stretch those wrists and back. Just forward, back, and then from a neutral position, we're going to inhale, drop that belly. Pull those shoulders back, come into cow pose. So we're opening that chest, dropping the belly. And then exhale, round the spine. the tailbone. Bring that chin in towards the chest. Draw that navel up towards the ceiling. Exaggerating that movement. Press the tops of the feet into the mat and then inhale back to cow. Dropping that belly down, pulling those shoulders back. Strong through the arms. Open across the chest. And then exhale, go around again. So we're tucking everything, the tailbone, the chin. Drawing the navel up. And then inhale back to cow. Just doing a few more rounds of that cat and cow at your own pace. Inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. Feeling that muscles around the spine. Just warm up, stretch, lengthen. Moving the spine any way you want, maybe from side to side. Or just a few more cat and cows. And come back to a neutral position. I'm going to press to that right heel and just softly kind of back and forth, soften that calf muscle. Bringing that awareness to that inner right thigh, lift off those hip points. So really spreading out those fingers. Draw that navel in. Using our strength in our core or leg, and then stay here, add this left arm. Draw that navel in, strengthening the back. Breathe, don't forget to breathe. Just a few breaths here. And release. Inhale, press that belly down. Cow pose, you can drop the jaw. Exhale, round, cat. And back to neutral position. Exhale, press through that left heel and soften through that calf muscle. And lift, level off those hip points. Make sure those hands and fingers are spread out. Pressing into the top of that right foot. And then staying here, add that right arm, reaching through those fingertips, pressing through that heel. And breathing, engaging muscles in the core. Lifting through that hamstring. Breathe into the belly. And release. Bring those knees towards the edge of the mat. Toes together. Sink those hips back. Reach forward. Let that forehead just come down to the mat. And just sink, hover above or sink into the mat. Come to child's pose. We're just letting everything go. Breathe into the belly on the exhalation. Just release everything. Let everything melt into the mat. And slowly move those hand palms underneath the shoulders. We're gonna press up. Leave those knees wide. Just come up. And then from here, and inhale up through that right elbow. And extend all the way if that feels okay. And go ahead and thread that arm underneath that left arm. Bring that right shoulder down. Reach forward with that left arm. And we'll let that right shoulder melt into the mat. You can always bring this arm around for an extra shoulder stretch as an option, but here's just fine. Just breathing into the belly and let that right shoulder melt and soften into the mat. Reconnect with your breath. Make sure you're breathing into the belly. Soften through your face. And go ahead and bend that left arm. Press up. And from here, we're going to inhale up. Just reach up through the elbow and then all full extension. And then thread the needle. Bring this left shoulder down. Reach forward to the right arm. Let that shoulder melt. You can always reach around back here if you'd like to try an extra hook, but it's completely optional. Otherwise, just reach forward, let that shoulder melt. Left shoulder just softens, releases. And slowly bend that right arm. I'm going to press up. Bring those knees underneath the hips. And then just come to our belly. Slide those hands underneath the shoulders. Bring that chin down to the mat. Bring those legs a little closer together. Maybe be a little bit apart. And we're just going to engage everything, the arms, the legs, the glutes. And on the inhalation, just lift up that chin off the mat. Double checking, being careful with the low back and tightening everything up is going to protect that low back. If there's any discomfort, just coming right back down. Otherwise, lifting, peeling that chest up off the mat, lifting up, lifting that chin up. Engaging those muscles with them back, strengthening them, protecting our mobility, only if there's no discomfort or pain. And release, slide those hands together, right cheek down on top of the hands, bend those knees, and window wash the feet. Shake out the low back, massage the front of the legs. As fast or as slow as you like. And feet up to the ceiling. Gonna reach around with this left hand. You can grab here, 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 or press that foot into the hand. Soften, open to the front of that left leg. Breathe. And release. I'm gonna switch legs. Press into the hand or wherever you can grab your shin, your ankle. We just want to open through the front of the right hip, front of the right quad. Just gently pressing into the mat. Still breathing into the belly. And release. Bring those arms out forward for Sphinx. And then we're just going to find our spots. We're comfortable moving those elbows in, as always. Engaging everything from the waist down. Pressing to those elbows. And staying here. Moving those elbows closer into the body. Press to the forearms, the palms. Gaze forward or down. Breathe. One more breath. And release. Slide those hands together. Left cheek comes down on top of the back of the hand. And we'll just window wash those legs again. Shaking out everything. It should feel really good on your low back, on the front of your legs. Drop the hands. Slide those hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to press up. And from here, I'm going to tuck those toes and just start to straighten those legs. They don't have to come all the way straight. Really spreading out those fingers. Middle finger points to the top of the mat. And just start to walk the dog. Alternate those heels on the mat. Stretching, softening the backs of the legs. Those ears are up by those biceps. Arms are strong. Or take a micro bend if you feel like you need to. Just a tiny little bend in the elbow. I'm pressing to those heels, and that could be here, here, here. Maybe they're pressed into the mat or just hovering above. And breathe, connect to your breath. Make sure you're breathing. Walk those feet up towards the hand. Keep those knees bent. You don't have to have those straight. And press to all four corners of those feet. Strong legs. Grab opposite elbows and just let the top part of the body hang. Ragdoll. Soften the neck. Shake and nod. And drop those hands. I'm gonna just gently bend those knees and just gonna step back with that left leg. Come into a lunge, softly bring that back knee down. And we've got our hands on either side of the right foot and staying here, or really feeling flexible, just scooch this right foot forward. Just letting those hips fall forward. You want to maybe take your thumb here in this hip crease and pull it back a little bit so your hips stay squared. Letting those hips sink forward, release. And then engaging your core, pull that navel in. Or bring those hands to the top of that knee and then let those hips fall forward again. And you've got an option to stay here or bring the hands to the hips if that's a little bit, feels a little bit more natural. And if you want an extra little side stretch, just inhale up this left arm. We'll reach over, just really engaging that core to make sure you feel really stable there. And release, hands back to the hips. Go ahead and straighten that front leg, coming to a half split, or runner stretch. So from here, I want to keep this left hip over this left knee, toes up to the ceiling, and then I'm just going to hinge at the hips, come forward. You can always do something like blocks. I'm still kind of using just because I'm still recovering from turns out was a pinched nerve in my spine. So something like this, you guys use, or just bring your fingertips down. I just want to soften through the back of this leg. Breathe. And release, bring those hips forward. Hands to the inside of the foot, heel toe that out to this to the side, and you always take that at an angle, or you can bring your knee out. You're one of my very flexible students. Just whatever helps you open and soften that hip flexor is most important. And you just come here. So you'll feel that stretch in the front of that left hip and in that hip flexor. Just make sure you're keeping this knee over this ankle and that the ankle isn't behind the knee. Just easy on the joints. And breathe. Reconnect with your breath. Make sure this foot is towards the edge of the mat. And then we're breathing into the belly. And heel toe that foot back to center. I'm going to tuck those back toes. Straighten both those legs. Adjust. You probably know the distance you need between your legs in order to come into that pyramid pose. So kind of squaring those hips towards the front of the mat. You get a nice long spine. And then you take your fingertips, hands down to the mat, about hip width between the feet. You always grab blocks if you have them to help keep your spine nice and long if you need that. If that's a helpful prop. Press and then press into the mat through those legs. We're engaging every muscle in the legs. So we're doing a lot of work, sucking up those kneecaps. About to split that mat in two. And go ahead and gently release. We'll just bring this left foot to meet this right foot. And then we're just going to gently step back with that right foot and then bring this back knee down. Move your hands on either side of the foot. And then always feel free to just scoot this foot forward for a deeper stretch. Or stay here, take this thumb, pull this back. So a reminder of want to square those hips. And let those hips fall forward, soften. And from here, bring those hands on top of the knee, let those hips fall forward, or here. And if you want to take an extra side stretch, reach up through this right hand and just come over. Just always making sure you're engaging the core. That always helps stability. Before you do anything, just always sucking in that navel, just engaging those muscles. So protect your back, protect your stability in your back and everything. And release from here. We're gonna straighten that front leg, come into our half split or runner stretch. So just coming forward, pressing to the top of that right foot, and then either here. So here's a block. Just softening through the back of that left knee. These toes are up towards the ceiling. And let those hips fall forward. We're going to heel toe this foot out towards the edge. Hands are on the inside of the foot. We're letting that hip flexor just soften. You can always take this at an angle or let this knee come out if that feels good, or just staying right here. Soften, breathe into that hip flexor. Release. And go ahead and alter that foot back to center. We're going to take those back toes and set for pyramid. So your feet are hip width apart. We're going to start to just straighten both those legs, adjust the feet so that we've got the right distance. If you have something like a block, if you need something like that. Nose comes towards the shin, maybe on your fingertips. You can always kind of adjust the distance between the feet, and then we're engaging every muscle in those feet and the legs. Split the mat apart, suck up the kneecaps. Lengthen through the back of the neck. And breathe. Breathing through everything, never holding the breath. Deep breaths into the belly. If it wanders away, just coming right back. And release. Going to bring that back knee down. And come out, bring the knees together. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip around. And bring those legs out in front. So we're pressing down through those palms, pressing through those feet. So we're doing a lot of work here. Engaging the core. Second of those kneecaps, every muscle in the legs, and the core, the arms are working. And then we're gonna lift up, just bring those fingertips behind the ears, reach up, and then hinging at the hips, come forward, forward, forward. And then you can grab your shins, ankles, your feet. If you want to have a yoga strap, makeshift yoga strap, anything that's basically long and thin that you can wrap around the balls of the feet. You grab that and kind of pull your heart forward. Just want to avoid this kind of hunching movements. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Pull that navel in towards that spine and see if you can bring that nose a little closer to the shins. Breathe. And release. Bring the soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana. You push those hips forward if you like. Or legs out here, just find the spot that's best for you. You wrap those hands around the feet. Lift the chest and almost come forward. Nose down towards the floor. Press those knees away from the body. Soften through the hips. And release. Go ahead and straighten those legs and stay here or push those hips forward. Arms out in front, just walk forward, pressing through those heels. Nose down towards the floor. And then for tomorrow, if you're able to come, that we're going to be doing sort of a lot more of these sitting stretches and then try to hold them for a little bit longer, just an FYI. So if you do want to, if you do like doing it with some sort of yoga strap or, whatever you have, tea-towel, t-shirts, you might want to have that available if that helps. So just so you know, I just want to take some extra time to really release into those sitting stretches. And gently come up and bring those legs together. Grab the backs of the hamstring. We're going to roll to our back and just roll at our back. Give it a massage, some side to side. Give it the knees in a circular motion, so whatever feels good. Giving our legs a hug. And letting those legs go long. Just let those feet flop towards the edges of the mat and then open those palms up to the ceiling. And whatever you need to release. If you want like something just under your head, a blanket or blanket over your body. You probably know already what the best way to get into Shavasana is for you. And then once we're here, big breath into the belly. Release, close the eyes, and just sink onto the mat. Just let everything go. Deep breaths into the belly. And then just start to soften those breaths, start breathing into the belly. And just observing the breath as it enters and exits the body. breathing in relaxation. On the exhalation, just releasing, softening, letting everything relax. Let all the muscles of the face release, the chin, the jaw, the cheeks, the muscles around the eyes. Tongue is loose in the mouth. The whole face just softens. On the next exhalation, let those shoulders melt down into the mat. Every muscle in the shoulder just softens, releases. Down the arms, biceps, triceps, forearms, palms, fingers. We'll soften and widen, surrender. Down the back, every muscle lengthens, widens, releases. The hips melt, the hamstrings widen and soften, quads feel heavy. Backs of the knees release, calf muscles widen, ankles, the feet, the toes, all relax, the feet feel heavy. Everything surrenders and releases into the mat. Just continue to follow the breath. Breathing in relaxation. Just releasing and letting go a little bit more with every exhalation. And slowly start to bring your awareness back to your body. You're going to wiggle our fingers and our toes. Rock our head from side to side. And bend your knees. Gently roll onto the right side of your body. And then press up into a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center. On the inhalation, just open the eyes, blink a few times into the light. And namaste. Thank you, everybody. Sorry I went a couple minutes over. Hope some people at least got to do part of Shavasana, but it's actually Shavasana is something you can always do later. You know, to do like directly after. So if you ever miss a chance, you could just lay down for a few minutes later and take your time. And yeah, just FYI. Anyways, I hope to see everyone tomorrow. And like I mentioned, I want to do a lot of floor stretches. So if you wanted to sort of yoga strap, if you like that, just maybe have it prepared. And any other requests, of course, be in touch. Just let me know. And see you soon. Have a great rest of your day.